Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Summer Days here with another video, and I'm really excited to make this one. So in case you didn't know, a couple days ago I tried to replicate the Crumbl cookie slash Olivia Rodrigo guts cookie as a dupe, and I got so many comments when I did it. People thought it was me, they thought it was bologna, they thought it was a pizza, burger, salsa. I got a lot of questions, so I asked you guys what should I make, and people said cookie taco and salsa. Two people anyway voted on it, so I decided to make it, and here's what it looked like, and let's get started with making it. Step one is the taco shell. I originally wanted to make a pizzelle, and if you don't know what that is, it is this crispy, I think it's Italian, but it's this crispy cookie. It's kind of like a waffle but kind of not, and I didn't have the pizzelle maker, so I tried to make it myself. This is trial 1 and 2. The first one I put it in the stovetop to try to make it, and it didn't work. The second one I put it in the oven with rice in it to weigh it down, and it didn't work. And then the third way I tried to put it in my mini waffle maker. It is the only waffle maker I have, and it came out like a perfect Belgian waffle Belgian waffle, which was actually really good when I ate it, but not the crispy wafer that I could roll into a taco shell like I wanted, so I gave up. Next up, I made a waffle cone batter instead. However, I didn't have the right waffle maker, so I put it in the pan and I got mixed results. The recipe itself is very easy. It's literally just like powdered sugar, some egg whites, you add a little, you don't add baking soda, and you add melted butter and a little vanilla. You mix it together until it's really smooth, and then you cook it in a pan low and slow for like 3 to 4 minutes, flip it over, and yeah, as you can see, I was struggling to get it smooth. I should have whipped out my hand mixer, but I am lazy, so I did not do that. Here's me putting it on the stove and just spreading it out circular like, and then here's what it looks like when it's done. It's kind of like in between a crepe and a pancake, but you're supposed to let it harden on a circular object if you want it to be kind of taco shaped, or if you want it to be a cone, you can roll it up. But we weren't making ice cream cones today, we were making taco shells. Next up is our ground beef, and you see ground beef is in quotes, and that's because I made the ground beef out of brownies. And it's a very simple brownie recipe. It's literally just, again, eggs, you add some sugar, you add melted butter, add your cocoa powder into it, and then I added a little bit of baking soda and just mixed it up until it was smooth. And you'll be able to see it in a moment, but this is like a really thick brownie batter, and I made it on the drier side because I wanted it to resemble ground beef, especially because I was going to be putting a lot of wet things on it. This is me adding the flour into the brownie ground beef. The batter, again, is super, 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 super thick. It took forever to mix it by hand, and again, I should have just used a hand mixer, but I was being lazy, okay? And it's not my fault. Anyway, I put it in a small little container, and I piled it high to the sky because, again, I wanted it to be like super dry. But then it started overflowing in the oven, so I eventually had to separate it into 2 different containers anyway. And as you can tell, this is like a really dry brownie, but I chopped it up into the smallest cubes that I could because, again, this is my ground beef. And look at these knife cuts, guys. So good. It was actually really, I was very proud of myself. Scooped it in a little container. Here's the close-up. Beautiful. Step 3 is our lettuce in quotes and our salsa in quotes. You guys have been saying that my strawberry jam looked like salsa, but we'll get to that. First up is the lettuce. This is white chocolate. It was already green, but I added more green because I thought it would get greener. It did not. And I just spread it out on some parchment paper. I tossed it in my freezer, I think for like 10 to 15 minutes because I wanted it to get crispy. And then my plan was to nicely dice it into lettuce shapes. But the way the chocolate was cracking, those nice strips were not going to happen. So that's what it looks like. Then I made the jam. I had strawberries and raspberries, added some sugar, threw it on the stove, and here is the final result. It is sideways because I usually film for mobile, so sorry about that. But here's the assembly. You start with some ground beef, and then you sprinkle in your more ground beef, and then I'm going to add my strawberry jam, i.e. the salsa. After that, I'm going to sprinkle in my lettuce, i.e. some white chocolate chips. And then the orange thing you see in the background, this is leftover cream cheese frosting. I colored it orange because I wanted it to look kind of like hot sauce. I don't know if you've noticed, but I use the truff hot sauce in my videos a lot, or the sriracha one. So yeah, that was the vibe that I was going for. And surprisingly, I thought it was going to be really, really sweet because I have a lot of sweet components in there. But I think because my cream cheese frosting wasn't as sweet, and the berry salsa was actually really tart, it kind of really worked. Yeah, it worked. I would give this probably like a 6 out of 10 because the tortilla, the taco, wasn't as crispy as I wanted it to, but like everything actually tasted good together. So go me, go me, go me. Anyways, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for what you want to make, feel free to let me know. Drop a comment down below. I am open to making anything. And yeah, that's all I got. Have a good day. Also, follow me.